Please excuse the slightly dishevelled look. I wasn't intending on making a video today, but I just had a moment of inspiration just coming back from walking Winston. And that is that there is a misconception nowadays that as soon as you hit 40, 50, whatever, 45, 50, that your path is defined, it's set out, that you can't do anything about it, especially I think those that are parents that have reached that age. And I think the real problem here is that we are attaching a meaning to that chronological number. The assumption that at 40 it means this, that at 45, 50 it means this, and especially 50. You know, I've got some friends that have hit that number recently. And I think for many there is almost this dread. You know, in part they're looking forward to having a big party with their friends, but in part there's this dread that they're hitting this number, and there doesn't need to be. Don't forget that figure, that number, is just something that in the past a person had created the idea of time, of chronology, you know, of the fact that as soon as you hit the end of a day, that's marked as a day before it turns into night. The fact, for some odd reason, after 7 days we call it a week. All this thing really is just a creation of somebody else. We don't have to live by those rules. We certainly don't have to associate numbers with a meaning. In other words, you know, I'm approaching 46, but I neither think I'm chronologically the right age or even biologically the right age, you know, physiologically. So the message here, I think, today is that be it you want to make a significant change in your life, you know, in terms of your physical health, be it you have always had this dream of running your own business, turning your passion into a business, be it you're in a relationship and you've been in it for 20 years and you believe therefore that you should stick it out even when things aren't going to plan. Especially I think when it comes to relationships. You know, divorce obviously is so much easier these days, and I guess there are two schools of folk out there, ones that are quite happy to go in and out of relationships, go one divorce after the other, you know, the idea of that relationship as a marriage perhaps has a slightly different context. And then there are others, still a significantly big group out there of folk whom believe that once they've made that commitment in the form of marriage, they've created their vows, that's it, that's your path defined, you have to still stick at it. And I'm a big believer that when it comes to relationships, you do need to work hard to keep the fire burning. But sometimes I think you do get to a point where both parties split and go their different ways. You know, it doesn't have to be defined. And this is the message again. Nothing in your life is defined. There is no path that you have to follow or that is laid out in front of you. You can change that path. You can especially follow the unbeaten path whenever you want. And actually, I think the more you follow that unbeaten path, the more your life will have meaning. This is a morning short ramble for you. And there are some I know in the tribe of evolutionaries, that are wanting to make change, be it their job, be it their physical health. And they're at that crux point where they do need to make some decisions, and they're assuming that they are tough decisions, when in fact, when you remove much of the needs and shoulds and all the things that we think we're committed to, actually those decisions are quite easy. You just simply do the old 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. You know, you say to yourself, I'm going to count down from 5, and once I hit 0, that's decision made. I'm going to do this thing, whatever that thing might be. So I'm going to drop a link below for those who are at a crux point in their career, you know, in a job that isn't quite working out. And even when they think about the idea of moving to another job, that idea of the grass always being greener still doesn't quite factor, you know, it still doesn't make sense. And in fact, for those that have always harbored an interest in establishing their own business or creating their own company, I'm going to drop a link below to the SFM, the Six Figure Mentors, because that will give you that opportunity to do so. It will guide you in the right direction. And I think as a last point, I want you all to know, or just to ponder on this, that we only have a finite time on this planet. And I'm not meaning to sound morbid here, but we don't have a huge amount of time to make this life the best it possibly can be, and to make the version of ourselves the best that we can be. So, you know, there's lots of cliches out there, the whole one life, live it, you know, grab everything whilst you can. But they're all cliches for a very good reason. They're all generalizations for a very good reason. That unless you're happy when you finally cark it, being on your deathbed and having regrets, then you may as well just go for it. And you may as well just throw caution to the wind and try these things out. You know, if they don't work, they don't work. They just become a learning experience. You try something else. Evolution of Dave signing off. I hope that helps. Thank you.